They are two funny guys, Dumb People Town podcast. They are co-hosts of it with Daniel Van Kirk. That's their latest venture that you can catch them in the Mayan Theater locally in Los Angeles, California later on this week. The Largo as well before they go to Big Ten Country in Bloomington, Illinois. None other than the Sklar brothers here.
Yes.
Indiana, Bloomington, Indiana. Good to see you guys.
Nice to see you, Rich, always.
Yeah.
Great job on the draft.
Yeah, you were fantastic.
I thank you guys.
Really fun to watch.
Some amazing storylines. I mean, the draft and then the fallout of the draft. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
We were talking about Josh Rosen, and we were saying his trajectory, if you think about go back to last year's draft, is the story of Passover.
If we
Stay
may,
with
I
me,
mean, if we
okay?
stay with us here,
Okay.
stay
He's
with
a
us.
Jew. He gets lost in the desert. We don't know what's going to happen
He's
to him.
wandering essentially in the desert.
And he's doubting his future.
After being the chosen one.
After being the chosen one.
Right, yes.
Lost in the desert, and then he finds his way to the place where all Jews settle, Miami.
right, and he's
The promised land.
and he's hoping to retire there, like all
So
Jews.
I think, and Ray and I were talking about, we were all talking about, like, this could be the first pick in last year's draft. Like, people were like, Baker Mayfield, why didn't you take Josh Rosen? So, like, he still hasn't shown us what he can show us.
Agreed.
I think he might really enjoy his time in Miami, and that's not a bad team.
Well, the crazy thing is that Dolphins are already saying that he needs to compete for the job with Ryan Fitzpatrick. So
I saw a picture of
who,
Fitzmagic
by the
recently.
way, not Jewish.
Not
I know.
Jewish.
Fitzpatrick?
Surprisingly not Jewish.
Fitzpatrick?
Just in case you're wondering at home, not Jewish, not a Jew. Ryan's Fitzpatrick.
Wasn't there a
not Jew.
picture circulating around? And Brockman, you might be. He was looking Ezekiel Elliott.
But did you hear
large.
the explanation?
What was the explanation?
The explanation was he's got 7 kids now, so he's too short of Rivers.
Yeah.
And too many birthdays, and he was loading up on birthday cake.
That's what he said.
I mean, to me, if I saw Ryan Fitzpatrick at Burning Man, I'd be like, yeah. You know what I mean? It's like, you can imagine him there.
Yeah, but the way, we were talking, everyone's talking about the draft. No one's talking about the fact that Sebastian Janikowski announced his retirement.
he did.
And what a great! I'm happy for the guy.
Finally, he can just let himself go, put on a couple pounds,
Smoke if you want.
smoke a cigarette.
You know what I mean? You're out of the league.
Yeah, all the guardrails are off now.
Yeah, do the things you
Do the things you always wish you.
The NFL prevented you from doing.
Join a prostitution ring run by Tony Kukoc. You know,
whatever you
just
gotta do.
enjoy the whole. However it goes.
By the way, I missed that headline.
He's got free time. Oh, Tony Kukoc was part of a.
I had no
He
idea. Are you
ran a
serious?
prostitution ring. Yes,
And
yes.
he actually, there was him and another person, so they executed a perfect triangle.
Yeah, it was like a 3-ring circus.
And Pippen refused to get off
Pippen
the bench.
refused.
Yeah,
No,
he refused
but
to
that
play
actually
game.
was a real headline. We're not.
That's a real-
That's
Yeah, not
making it
a
up.
few years ago. it was kind of-
2011 on that.
2011.
I-
2011.
I missed that 8 years ago.
There you
Go
go.
figure that.
There you go.
I might have been involved with the draft back then.
You might
know,
have.
it's funny with Rosen going to Miami. We were talking off air because this is the sort of conversation you can't go down the Godfather Part 2 wormhole.
Yeah.
That we wanted to have a video of Hyman Roth, who always loved watching football in the afternoons, as you know.
Yes.
Just to see what he would think of
His
Josh
reaction.
Rosen coming to Miami.
He'd be ecstatic. By the way, just in that movie, like I just wanted him to get air conditioning. I was like, why is
Right,
this?
why is he
the
sweating?
slats are open on the window.
It's from a
Everyone's
different era.
sweating.
From a different era.
It's from a different era.
Roth,
It's
like-
from an era when we were like okay with being uncomfortable.
Right.
Like as
Not
people.
anymore. We can't handle that anymore.
So what else did you? So
So
how
I
did-
texted you, and I texted him that I was coming here today. He sends his best to you, Max Greenfield,
Okay.
who is a fan of this show and
Yes,
loves
he's been
this
on.
show.
We enjoyed our time with him. when he came
Diehard
on the
Giants
show.
fan.
Huge Giants fan.
So is he freaking out right now?
He is. He's like, I'm apoplectic.
You said what we said, which is like, wait, James Dolan owns the Giants now? Like, what are they doing? What are they doing?
I mean, they're making worse decisions than James Dolan, who is in a blues band. Who, like that's like the worst decision he's made.
JD in the straight shot. Don't send.
Please,
if you
dear
send me
God.
that
Don't
direction,
send any.
the gravitational pull of the Dolan wormhole. On
I
this
know.
Show.
We're
I went down one at the
We
end of
saw
last
it.
hour.
We heard it, and
The Giants are like the kind of like if the Giants were in your fantasy league, they would
Yes.
be like, "Hey, I got to take a kicker first. He gets me 10 points
You don't
every
have
week."
to take. There'll be plenty of them in the last rounds, and they're
There'll
just
be
like, let's take them
You know,
first.
it's just easy. It is low hanging fruit with the Giants right now.
It kind of is.
But we have no idea.
This kid
how
could
good-
be great.
He sure could.
I mean,
I hope he's
we
great.
have no idea.
We don't.
Zero.
I would love-
idea.
Okay,
The
you know-
only problem is that the only confidence level that the Giants fans can have is like, okay, who's the guy who's making these choices?
Right.
And his track record in recent days with Giants fans, and also what he did in Carolina, just, you know what? We're just going to take Josh Norman and let him walk. Just we're going to rescind because I'm going to be, I'm going to be petulant, or he's being petulant.
Right.
I'll show him. I'll just let him walk for nothing and make his king's ransom in
Somewhere
the NFC.
else.
So
Yeah.
okay, in the division where he is right now.
Right. Exactly.
Then Landon Collins goes to that same team. Then he chooses this quarterback from Dave Brown's alma mater. And Dave Brown, again, for fans who may not know, was the supplemental draft choice that Giants fans hoped would bridge the success from Parcells onward.
Right.
Not
Did
so
not
much.
happen.
Right.
Did not happen.
So all of that together, you put it in a hopper, and it comes out, who the hell is this guy and what's he doing? He could really be terrific.
What if he is great? And I hope he's great. And I would love to see, how Vegas always has a line for everything. Like, what if he's more successful than Zion Williamson? What if, he out of Duke becomes like the athlete that we all know?
Well, I saw Zion Williamson do like a gender reveal.
He dunked a ball that basically said what the gender was going to be.
I'm like, should he be doing dunks for nothing right now? Like, as this whole
very
life is
expensive if he twists his ankle.
But could it have been that company that had T.O. or somebody read off something? For,
Cameo.
Wait, hang on a second. T.O. doing something suspect for a company to make a little extra money. That does not sound.
That seems very odd.
Seems odd to
Hold
me.
on a minute. He's out there watching every day.
Was he
You
doing
be
that
careful.
during his Hall of Fame induction instead of being in Canton, Ohio?
Yeah.
By the way, I think Giants fans would take Daniel Jones being more successful than Ala Abdel Nabi right now. If you want to choose Duke basketball player,
They would rather have that.
Daniel
Jones.
Ala Abdel Nabi right here. Let's just, it is one of those things where did Max, or does he know any Giants fans who have put the eye test on, watched Duke football? Like, who has watched a Duke football game that did not go to Duke?
Not a lot of people, but
including people at Duke.
I think the argument is, though, even if he turns out to be good, he still would have been around later. So use that first pick for some other high value.
Because they were trying to make the case that he's going to be gone. He wasn't going to be gone.
I mean, you think
16.
about who Drew Lock the Broncos kept trading down, and Drew Lock was still there.
Well, I'm running the risk that Mike Del Tufo is actually listening to what we're talking about right now.
Well,
There's really
not.
no shot of that.
He's asleep.
Do you have the Dave Gettleman soundbite, please, sir, that we talked about prior to the show?
Where he says we had to get him.
Where he said we had to get him. And then, and again, just listening to him, too, this is another part of the issue. He sounds like a Goodwill Hunting extra, which in New York City gives another reason for suspect.
Exactly.
Like he's a Manchurian general manager
a
candidate.
Mole from up north.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Yes. Mike, have I tap danced long enough for you to find that soundbite?
There's three of them, so I have to find out which one it is.
Did you get the one?
Well, it doesn't actually say exactly what you're saying.
By the way, he's the one that was most excited about Doug the Pug making a draft choice.
Oh, that was really sweet. That was a great moment.
That was a good moment.
Out of everyone. Were you looking at a Doug the Pug video when I
No,
got
I
to you?
wasn't. I'm actually looking for him, but which one do you want? There's three of them.
The one where he said that they had to get him because there were two other teams for sure.
In the States.
If I keep going on any longer, I
You'll
will
just do the quote.
transcribe
You're essentially
the actual
doing the quote right
Who
here.
does a good Massachusetts
I'm going to
accent?
play one
you're
if
not
it's
gonna
wrong.
believe it.
They're
You're not
gonna believe it.
He was not going to be around.
They're not labeled that way. That's why I don't want to
All
find
right, well, you'll find
Why
it.
didn't you wait until 17? Well, I know for a fact there were two teams that would have taken him in front of 17. I know that for a fact. So Tom, it's tough. It really is. It wasn't easy for me to pass up Josh Allen. It was, that for me, in my background, that was very, very difficult. But I think that much of Daniel Jones.
So how many Giants fans who can't, I'm with the Sklar brothers here, how many Giants fans who can't see straight just because this guy opens his mouth at all thinks that he's referring to last year's Josh Allen at the quarterback position?
A lot of them would
He wasn't even available after he took Saquon. What are you talking about?
This guy does not know what he's talking about.
I mean, he's ridiculous. But Saquon Barkley, what's he thinking? I mean, the Giants have
Every single time the Giants fans are freaking, it's just like, excuse me.
Saquon Barkley should be freaking out more than you guys, but I mean, what do we have? 6 more years of Eli left? Is that what he's going to do? He's just going to after posthumously play quarterback for a while? I feel like at some point, Eli, you
just give it up.
Eli's like the guy who's at his 7th year at a college, and you're like, dude, you can graduate and just move on.
Yeah.
And I know Eagles fans who just want to nice. I know Eagles fans, Cowboys fans like TJ, who's on our set here.
Yeah.
Inject these tears into their veins right now.
Right.
They are just loving it.
It's life-giving. giving.
Well, especially Redskins fans who got the guy that, a lot of people were saying beforehand.
Dwayne Haskins.
Dwayne Haskins goes to a team in your division, and you don't think you saw the video of Dwayne Haskins when he was announced.
Yes.
Just laughing.
I know, but the fact that any Washington Redskin fan could actually feel they have a moral drafting high ground,
That's amazing.
From which to look down and laugh at anybody,
anyone.
let alone the Giants
Yeah,
with their trophies in the case.
Yes.
Since Gibbs left town.
Well, so we're almost.
Are you kidding me?
By the way,
we're looking at the video right here of Haskins watching on the phone.
And by the way, he's just clearing through emails right now.
Yeah,
he's
right
just
now.
going through. I think.
He's looking at and then just the chuckle and then a head shake. That looks like that Alonzo Mourning gif on the sideline where he's nodding and shaking his head and nodding his head.
I love that he's being drafted. This is the biggest moment of the kid's life, and he can't even be bothered to take the headphones all the way off. It's still a little bit partially on his ear.
Yeah, he's
Come
DJing.
on, man.
He's DJing.
He's DJing in the middle of that party.
If I had to give you a choice,
Yes.
the Sklar brothers here, Jason and Randy here, if you were getting drafted, what would the Sklar brothers draft party look like?
First things first, I'd be wearing a 1990s NBA draft suit. So
29
coat
buttons.
down to my knees, 29 buttons all the way down. Maybe a cane, maybe a top hat, could be a scepter. All right, that's what I'm going up with.
Speaking of, I think the band Third Base would be playing at our draft party.
Okay. I like that.
They're available.
Where would it be held? Would you have family? I mean, what's the spread?
First things first, I think Vince Young bought an Applebee's, so I'd probably put it at Vince Young's Applebee's.
Okay.
That he
That's
purchased.
a good one.
Evan's just out friends, family, and then I would have like just a couple random people. Have them come and have got people go like, how do they know? Like, how do the Sklars know Oliver Miller? You know what I mean? Like, and Dustin Diamond. Like, I don't know how they would know either of those people, or why are they hanging
They're
out?
both at your draft party.
Both of them
They're
are
both just hanging around the food and just chilling out. Well, Oliver Miller, of course, would be hanging around the food.
Hanging by the food, but like. And Sebastian Janikowski.
Sebastian Janikowski.
Seabass would be there. You serve Seabass.
Smoking indoor. We're serving Seabass to Seabass.
And he's smoking indoors.
Did you think you'd hear Oliver Miller today, Chris, when you came to work?
Neither
did I.
Or Allah Abdul Nabi. That's pretty
That's another one. We would call that coming full circle.
That is coming full circle.
What's the Dumb People Town podcast for those who may not know what that is?
We believe that the world's getting dumber, or dumber's getting louder or prouder.
Okay.
I mean, we often
Or smart is like a bunny rabbit and dumb is just petting it too
keeps
hard.
petting it too hard. Like, he likes it.
He doesn't like that.
He's smiling.
He's not smiling.
He loves it.
He doesn't love that. And so we take 3 crazy, real true crime stories of dumb people doing dumb things.
Like the woman who got her head stuck in a tailpipe during a country music festival. That woman.
And then we break down all the choices of that
guy who
woman's
tried
life.
to fight his own reflection in a bar window. He keeps moving where I'm moving.
Yeah,
you know,
that's
like
a drunk guy. It's
percentage of stories from Florida that make
A
the
lot.
podcast.
And it's funny because we were talking about
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones earlier, which today is a day that if you were a kid, I'm not saying anything.
Okay.
If you were a kid and you were 12 and you didn't see Avengers Endgame, parents everywhere are like, don't talk to anybody. Do not talk to
Do
anybody.
not look a friend in the eye. They will ruin it for you.
If you're an adult and you did not see Game of Thrones last night, you're going to work today going, do not look at the internet. Don't talk to anybody.
So I don't watch the show. I missed out because my daughter, like right around when it was starting, and we were too tired, and my wife couldn't get on board. So Randy watches it. So Randy and I like to sit around and play a game. He says something, and I have to decide if it's something that happened in Game of Thrones
or it happened in Florida.
At a strip club in Florida.
A bunch of people sitting around getting drunk with a dwarf while a guy who hooked up with his sister takes a giant sword and knights a tall woman.
Westeros or Florida?
Did that at Westeros or West Palm?
West Palm.
So you ask yourself, did that happen in Game of Thrones? Or did that, and Jason has to answer, did that happen in Game of Thrones?
I think that happened in Florida.
That actually happened in Game of Thrones. What about a woman whose dragon accidentally or purposely burned down an entire community?
That's definitely Game of Thrones.
That actually happened in Tampa. There was a woman who had an illegal kimono dragon. She fell asleep on it smoking, and it burned down the trailer park. All right, there you go.
It's a really fun game to play.
It is. Once you start, you can't stop.
It's the best.
You cannot stop.
So it is fun that that's a whole aspect of my life that he doesn't even understand.
It is amazing that I flew home because you've got young kids. You know my children, both of you guys.
Yes.
Okay, Brockman, I flew home to be with them, right? And I'm driving them to Hebrew school, okay? yesterday. Flew
Good
home,
man.
just got there, all right? Driving them there. Susie took the kids to see Avengers Endgame Friday.
Yeah. Did they spoil it for you? You can't.
My oldest son,
No.
I know.
cannot keep a secret, blurts out whatever. It has to be the biggest spoiler of the film.
My
Come on.
God.
Right to me.
Come on.
No.
Over.
That was your end game.
And I tried. It was over. That's the end game. That's the Avengers Endgame. Just blurted it right out to me.
Oh my
That's
God.
like when you don't tell someone who's kind of a friend of yours that,
Oh my
that you
gosh.
can't watch your game because of whatever's happening and you have it on the DVR. They don't know you're like, I'm not watching this until
Yeah.
later situation. And then they just text you, dude, no way. And you're like, why'd you? I didn't. You're not in my circle. Don't text me.
I know it's just like sports blackout. If you're trying not
That's
to know,
it.
like
That's
you
what I'm
just have
saying.
to you really can't speak to another human being. You cannot have any.
You
human
can't
interaction
read
with
your
anybody.
text.
You have to
You
basically roll back the clock to 1995 and just be like, we don't know where anything is. Like, we get the highlights later that night.
So I told my son, I'm like, do not do that sort of stuff.
You get mad.
Why would he do
Yes.
that?
You can't do that.
But I told him you will lose friends if you
It's
do
a
that
life
sort of
lesson.
stuff.
That's
Like
a
you can't go to
teachable
school
moment.
and say this. Like
Teachable
I told
moment.
him, I'm like, if you will have friends in life, they'll be so upset with you.
know.
They won't tell you secrets. They won't tell you anything. I try to
Amen.
use this as a teachable moment,
It
even
is.
though my voice was raising because I was pissed.
You were mad.
And I'm like, I flew home to be with you.
And watch the movie. I watched.
Parenting.
I watched Infinity War with my kids yesterday just to get ready. Yeah, to just get up for the thing, and then it like got too late, and my youngest daughter wanted to go out and watch. Go see Endgame at like 8. I'm like, this is a school night. It's going to be done at 11.
And that's $3
Yeah.
That film's
3 hours
$3.
long. And I was like, this is going to be so late. But part of me is like, yeah, let's go. And my wife just kept saying, no, that's so
It's not
irresponsible. And it's so irresponsible. And I had to then stand behind my wife and be like, yeah, that is kind of irresponsible. I'm not like all the way with I'm like, and there's a little bit of irresponsibility. I mean, we could make it. If we a little bit of
If we can get the irresponsibility debate done, we still could make it.
if we weren't debating about how irresponsible this is.
Oh, man. At Sklar Brothers on both Twitter and Instagram. Check out the Dumb People Town podcast. You guys are welcome here anytime.
Love you,
Thanks for being
Rich.
here,
Love
sir.
this show. Love you guys. Thanks for having us
and
on.
what's the website people go to get tickets
Super
to come see
Sklar, or
you?
you go supersklars.com. It's got all of our tour dates, and come see us. We'll be coming near you. We have our dates almost all the way through the end of the year, so
Awesome.
please do.
Check out the Sklar Brothers on, again, Twitter and Instagram.
For more of The Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV for free on BR Live or download the Rich Eisen Show app.